Coming up on Valley View News. The United Auto Workers Union has agreed to a deal following a months-long strike. What it means next. Plus, aid is being sent to Mexico as Hurricane Otis caused catastrophic damage in the country's southern coast. And this Halloween weekend, Five Nights at Freddy's is making a scare at the box office. We tell you how the movie is performing. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Leah Villalpando.
And I'm Daniel Herrera.
After a 2-day manhunt, the man accused of killing 18 people in Lewiston, Maine, was found dead last Friday evening. The shooter, Robert Card, was discovered inside a box trailer in an overflow parking lot of a recycling center, where he was recently fired from. Maine's Governor Janet Mills said she, like many others, was breathing a sigh of relief knowing Card is no longer a threat. The shootings happened Wednesday night at a local bowling alley and later at a bar and grill. The ages of those killed range from 14 to 76 and include a boy who was bowling with his father, members of the local deaf community, and several fathers leaving behind young children.
The shooting rocked the Maine community, and people gathered in a nearby town of Lisbon Saturday evening for a vigil. It was the first time the community had the opportunity to gather since a shelter-in-place order was lifted. Those affected are speaking out about the shooting, including Keela Smith, the girlfriend of a victim who survived.
A lot of emotions, it's all of it. You know, it's sadness, it's happiness, I'm mostly grateful because of, that he's still here.
Leroy Walker, whose son died while trying to save others, says hating the shooter won't bring back his son.
There's something that went wrong, and I just can't hate him.
Just heartbreaking. The funeral arrangements have not been announced.
Don't feel safe driving in Long Beach? Well, start by slowing down. The city is reducing the speed limit in some areas. Valley View News' Alex Perez says the city council recently implemented some new rules to make you feel more secure.
Next time you plan to drive to the city of Long Beach, pump those brakes. The Long Beach City Council approved the reduction in the city's speed limits back in December, but is now officially in effect.
I feel like I will be one of those people that will drive the speed limit that they want.
In general, it's just like more traffic. I'm the type of person, I commute to get to I live outside of Long Beach. I live in Lakewood.
But the city's website says not so fast. 111 street segments will have reduced speeds. That's 92 miles. In a statement, Long Beach Mayor Rex Richardson saying, quote, not only will these changes encourage more walking and bicycling, reduce noise, and enrich our neighborhoods and business districts, but these speed limit reductions can help save lives. More than half of the miles that are facing change will now have limits of 20 miles per hour or less. Long Beach residents say they have mixed feelings about the situation.
In residential areas, I think that's actually a better idea because that's the common spots where a lot of people are, driving their cars a lot faster.
So I have to commute here every single day, and if the speed limits are too low, I'm not getting to work fast enough, and then I got to leave a little earlier.
I think around the schools that could be beneficial because, of course, the kids.
A city spokesperson sending me this statement reading part, our department continues to work with Public Works and other city partners to ensure all residents and visitors of our city drive at a safe speed and adhere to the posted speed limits. He says it could take many drivers a few weeks to adjust. The average speed limit in California in residential areas is 25 miles per hour, but here in Long Beach you'll see them at 20 miles per hour, sometimes even following the 15. From Long Beach, California, I'm Alex Perez for Valley View News.
Alex, thank you. The Los Angeles Police Department headquarters YouTube channel is back on the platform. The department announced on X its channel was temporarily suspended after posting a video showing a violent attack. The video showed graphic images in which two men attacked another man in Venice, depicting the argument and moment where the man was kicked in the head and knocked unconscious by a pair of bolt cutters. Both suspects then left the area on their bicycles. The department explained the video's intent was only to ask the public for help in identifying the suspects. They appealed the suspension and were initially denied. The channel is now back on the platform.
Detectives are investigating the death of 2 children and the hospitalization of 2 others. Lancaster Sheriff deputies responded to East Avenue J2 over the weekend after a 911 caller said children were being harmed at the location. Deputies found 4 children under the age of 10 suffering from lacerations to their bodies. The children were immediately transported to the hospital, where 2 of them were pronounced dead. Officials say the children's biological father, Prospero Serna, was taken into custody as a person of interest.
Dangerous Santa Ana winds made for some wildfire concerns. Red flag warnings and high wind warnings have been issued in Southern California, specifically for Los Angeles and Ventura counties, with winds that could reach over 60 miles per hour. Fire risks also extended to other parts of SoCal, with Southern California Edison considering cutting power to LA, Ventura, Orange, Kern, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties. The fire weather and warnings started last Saturday.
The California Department of Food and Agriculture will be dropping millions of insects in Los Angeles. But don't be afraid, it's for a good reason. Earlier this month, officials had to quarantine 69 miles of Metro LA after they found invasive Mediterranean fruit flies at a home in Leimert Park. To stop the invasion, officials plan to drop sterile male fruit flies in the area for at least 6 months. Officials say the male fruit flies will mate with the females and over time reduce the population. The areas affected include parts of downtown and South LA, Hyde Park, Baldwin Hills, Culver City, Inglewood, Pico Robertson, and Mid-Wilshire.
A new law allowing California cities to ban artificial grass is generating a controversial debate about the state's water usage. Valley View News' Tashi Rios explains why many argue banning turf isn't the best idea.
When it comes to climate change, we drastically need to reduce our water uses.
Reaction to Governor Gavin Newsom, who has signed a new bill allowing cities and counties to ban artificial grass in California. The governor blaming health concerns linked with so-called forever chemicals that researchers say have been connected to diseases such as cancer and neurological impairments. The decision sparking a heated debate over the popular option for property owners to deal with droughts and water cutbacks.
So if we actually stop watering our yards, that's a huge footprint of our residential water use.
Ganguly says turf not only is better for budgets, but for the environment as well.
It's so much more complicated in terms of the visual beauty of it than just grass. And so it seems like you could use a lot less water and actually create a much more astonishingly beautiful yard.
Some athletes are saying that playing on turf just like this is not preferred and natural grass is a better alternative.
In one way, the natural has always been better for me to play on. I don't really like the synthetic one, and I would like for them to install natural grass.
Athletes like Castillo are urging for natural grass to replace turf because the surface is harder, leads to more injuries, and overall difficult.
You cut up yourself a lot in the synthetic and it burns. In the natural, it's less likely for that to happen. Your shoes get hot and everything gets difficult.
Just like asphalt, turf heats up when athletes play. Some California cities have already been banning fake grass. In a statement to Cal Matters, president of the Synthetic Turf Council says they are committed to ensuring their products contain no intentionally added PFSAs. Reporting from Los Angeles, California, I'm Tashi Rios.
Thank you, Tashi. In other news, Mike Pence is calling it quits on the run for the Republican presidential nomination. The former vice president announced on Saturday he was dropping out of the race after his campaign struggled to raise money and traction in the polls.
Now, I'm leaving this campaign, but let me promise you, I will never leave the fight for conservative values, and I will never stop fighting to elect principled Republican leaders to every office in the land. So help me God.
Typically, a former vice president would be seen as a good challenger in any primary, but this wasn't the case. Following his loss in the 2020 election, former President Trump became convinced Pence had the power to overturn the results. When Pence rejected the scheme, he drew Trump's fury, angered many supporters, and lost much of the support of the Republican Party. Pence didn't endorse any of his rivals following the announcement.
Many pharmaceutical staff across the country have now walked off the job. Pharmacy staff from different drugstores, including Walgreens, say their working conditions are unsafe. Staff are fighting against a lack of pay, constantly being short-staffed, and facing higher work expectations. The walkout began on Monday and should continue through Wednesday, including California and Texas. Some employees of pharmacy companies hope that the walkout show everyone why they might take longer than usual when waiting for medication.
Auto workers are one step closer to returning to work. Union leaders with the United Auto Workers Union say there's a tentative deal in place to end the months-long strike. Now, the deal still has to be approved and ratified before it could take effect. This would bring workers back to the assembly line sometime in November. The deals would come days after General Motors workers expanded their strike by walking out of a company factory in Tennessee.
Southern California students joined others across the country to walk out in solidarity with Palestinians as the war between Israel and Hamas approached its third week. Dozens rallied outside of the federal courthouse in Santa Ana. Parents, instructors, and students ranging in age from elementary to college were among the attendees. Event speakers demanded a ceasefire in Gaza and end to military backing for Israel.
More to come on Valley View News. Governor Gavin Newsom met with China's president, the topics that were discussed during the governor's controversial trip overseas. And Taylor Swift releases her newest Taylor's Version album. We'll share the details after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up on Valley View News, an LAPD officer is dead after a crash in a busy Northridge intersection. Residents say it's not the first time something like this happened on the dangerous stretch of road. Plus, the Gaza death toll reaches more than 10,000, the latest on the Israel-Hamas war. And a new foundation was created in honor of late actor Matthew Perry, how a nonprofit will help those suffering from addiction.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Tashi Rios.
And I'm Alex Perez.
We begin with the death of an off-duty LAPD officer who died following a two-car crash in Northridge. The deadly collision happened on West Roscoe Boulevard and Lindley Avenue. Officer Darrell Cunningham was driving with an off-duty San Bernardino County deputy and one more unknown passenger when another car ran a red light driving over 100 miles an hour. 20-year-old Brian David Olveri was believed to be under the influence of alcohol when he hit the two deputies. Officer Cunningham worked for the department for almost 5 years and is survived by his fiancée and two sons. Chief Moore says the passengers were all lifelong friends.
The deadly crash has generated concern among longtime residents who say the stretch of road is known to be dangerous for drivers. Valley View News' Ali Nahara reports they're demanding change from the city before more lives are lost.
Right here on Roscoe and Lindley is the intersection that took the lives of two individuals last night, and it's known as a street that's claimed the lives of many.
A deadly two-car crash in Northridge took the lives of two individuals, including an off-duty LAPD officer from San Bernardino. The crash also involved a parked car of a Northridge resident. Jimmy Castro lives in the apartment where the crash took place. He worries that this pattern may affect him as well.
Honestly, really sad and worries me because it just shows that one day it could be me, it could be one of my family members that live by.
Earlier this year, a Cal State Northridge student died as a result of this intersection. Vigils, much like the one set up here, were put up to pay tribute to the most recent victims. Still, residents who live adjacent to the crash site are concerned about the safety of drivers and think a solution is needed to prevent another accident of this nature.
I think surveillance of any kind is, if they get away with it, if they don't, it's still better if we take care of it in some way, like where we can hold them accountable.
Many nearby residents believe implementing stricter regulations, or as Castro says, a traffic cop, can help put a stop to these deaths.
This street has had issues with accidents for all the 10 years we've been living here. There's always a death every, few months.
As of now, it's been revealed that the suspect was going 100 miles per hour, which resulted in the deaths of 2 and 3 others injured. Police are still investigating further details. From Northridge, I'm Ali Nahara, Valley View News.
Thank you, Ali. A man suspected of sexual assault is now facing charges in Long Beach. It comes after District Attorney George Gascon's office initially declined to file a felony charge, saying there was not enough evidence. The man reportedly unzipped his pants, exposing himself as he walks behind her before lifting up her skirt and rubbing against her. The city provided additional evidence, which Gascon led to his office filing a felony charge. The DA is requesting bail of $150,000.
In other news, a San Jose police officer is without a job today. He had been involved in an officer-related shooting in downtown San Jose in March of 2022. San Jose Mayor Matt Mohan says the text messages were sent the day after the shooting and in June and July of this year. He says Mark McNamara used the N-word multiple times and said, quote, "I hate black people."
That we build trust and rebuild the trust that, frankly, this individual has cost our city is by being completely transparent and taking the swiftest possible action we can.
The department says the incident represents the actions of the individual, not those who serve with honor and respect.
Meanwhile, officers in Georgia have another escaped inmate behind bars. Last month, Mark Carey Anderson and 4 others escaped Bibb County Detention Center in Macon, Georgia. Anderson was the second inmate caught in the past 2 weeks. Authorities also arrested Tymisha Timley for hindering Anderson's capture. The FBI is assisting local law enforcement to find the 2 other inmates that remain on the run.
A judge has ruled that a $40 million lawsuit filed by a Newport News teacher in Virginia can move forward. Abigail Zwerner is suing the school board and administrators after she was shot by a 6-year-old back in January. She claims they ignored the warning signs of the child's history of violence. The incident happened at Rich Neck Elementary School when she was at her reading table in the classroom. She was then shot in the hand and chest. The board initially motioned to dismiss the case until Judge Matthew Hoffman decided to move forward with it. It is unknown when the trial will start.
An 11-year-old child is dead and 4 other children injured after a gunman opened fire at a crowd in Cincinnati. 3 boys ages 12, 13, and 15, and a 15-year-old girl were taken to the hospital. Officials said the suspect fired 22 times in a local neighborhood which is full of young children.
This is absolutely unacceptable in our city. Unacceptable that on a Friday night, 6 people were shot in one incident.
It's still unclear whether the attack was random or targeted.
President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill traveled to Maine in wake of a recent shooting a few weeks ago. Both stood for a moment of silence and placed a flower bouquet at the memorial outside the scene. The shooting took place October 25th. Police say a 40-year-old man killed 18 people and injured 13. The gunman was found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound hours after the killing. President Biden says he's ready to fight gun violence.
You know, as we mourn today in Maine, this tragedy opens a painful wounds.
His visit was meant to help the city and to try to help them heal.
The Santa Clarita bus strike has now reached its 4th week, and it looks like there is no end in sight. Valley View News' Warren Lopez says demonstrators will continue to rally for better working conditions, no matter how long it takes.
Chants echo outside the transit maintenance facility as Santa Clarita bus drivers enter its 4th week of protests. The strikes follow after 12 months of delayed negotiations with MV Transportation. So far, little to no progress has been made on the bargaining table.
We love our job, all of us love our job, and we just want this to be over with, go back to work, to take care of our passengers, to take care of our families.
MV is one of the largest public transport contractors as they move about 110 million passengers a year, and Santa Clarita takes up 3 million of them. The company broke its silence on November 2nd and explained they continue to seek a contract while offering wage increases. The drivers say otherwise and say the company is not bargaining in good faith.
Anytime you have to negotiate with a company for over a year and 2 months, it's not in good faith. And in these times, you cannot survive off a 3% raise, which is, if you do the math for 4 years, it's 45 cents.
The strikes led to many canceled routes and lines, while the city had to sign an emergency contract with transit systems to give temporary services. Despite no clear end in sight, the drivers will continue to strike on.
We all have families. We have families that are needing hospital, services and, things of that sort. So, our money's cut short, but it's for the purpose. So, we standing strong.
Santa Clarita City Council offered to work for both sides so bus services can return as soon as possible. Reporting from Santa Clarita for Valley View News, I'm Warren Lopez.
Thank you, Warren. Metrolink says it plans on temporarily shutting down its train services. Rain commuters will have to use an alternate form of transportation from December 26 to 29. The company says the closure will allow for maintenance, including essential cleaning, repairs, and network upgrades. The upgrades are coming just before the upcoming FIFA World Cup, the 2028 Olympics, and several other sports events. Other transportation agencies will still be operating during the time. Any passengers who have monthly or multi-day passes are encouraged to look into the refunds.
El Niño is expected to hit the U.S. with a chilly winter for the first time in years. Maps from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration show where more snow will pile up. The southern U.S. is expected to have wetter and cooler weather, while the north is estimated to be drier and warmer for the winter. The maps range from the amount of snowfall during the El Niño winters to the snowfall during the moderate to strong winters. Some of the states expected to see above average snowfall will be Washington, D.C. and Baltimore.
As we enter the holiday season, many families are gearing up to decorate their homes, but Valley View News' Lauren Hanna shows us why one local family is salvaging the remains of theirs.
A mother of 4 was Halloween shopping when the unthinkable happened. A fire erupted inside her Santa Clarita home. Her family friend rushed to the house on Oaklar Drive. It was engulfed in flames.
I came in and I told her, here, go over there, see what's happening. And then I said, we need to find your kids.
As they searched the other houses, 25 LA County firefighters battled the flames.
When they saw the smoke and fire, we immediately pulled 2 inch and 3/4 hand lines and went interior, began knocking the fire down, as well as doing a search for any victims or any animals that may be inside the property.
4 children and their grandma, who also lived in the house, were unharmed, but their many pets weren't as fortunate.
Well, unfortunately, we did find 2 dogs. I'm unsure of the exact location of where they were found, but unfortunately they were brought outside, given oxygen, dog CPR, but unfortunately they passed away on scene.
In the meantime, the local community is raising money on GoFundMe. Each dollar a reminder of those who care.
They all have places to sleep tonight, thanks to the community, and we're gonna see what we can do tomorrow. But for tonight, they're safe, they're alive, and that's what matters.
Firefighters were able to put out the flames, but for now, they're looking for clues into what caused it. Reporting in Santa Clarita, I'm Lauren Hanna, Valley View News.
Thank you, Lauren. The California State University faculty members have voted to authorize a strike in order to secure a new deal. The California Faculty Association had 95% members give the okay for a strike. The union represents all 23 Cal states. Workers are demanding for a 12% pay increase, manageable workloads, expand parental leave, and more counselors. They will present their request to the Chancellor in Long Beach on November 7th during the CSU Board of Trustees meeting. By law, employees must wait until the mediator tries to find a middle ground for the union and Cal States to continue before striking. This would be the first time the union would go on a system-wide strike.
More to come on Valley View News. Ticketmaster is reporting its highest quarter yet, and a museum was given an asteroid sample from NASA. Stay with us as we'll give you a look at a piece from space.